Right, so I hope this is recording. I haven't been in a video with my face for over a year, so sitting in front of a camera and filming a video is a little bit strange, but I think it's focused, I think everything's set up as it should be, and just as I start to film, there's a big wagon that turns up outside, making a lot of noise and just being so inconsiderate because I'm trying to return to YouTube and they don't care about that. Most of you will know that over the past year I have been working abroad, doing my year abroad, which was a compulsory part of my degree in modern languages from Durham University. I had to spend a year abroad in Spain and I had the option of either studying abroad at a university as an exchange student or working as an English language assistant, and I decided that I wanted to work as an English language assistant. It was a really good way to get more professional work experience for an entire year, which is very difficult to get, and it was also a paid job as well, so that meant that I was earning money in order to travel around and do things that I wanted. I think if I was an exchange student I wouldn't have really had as much money to travel around and explore the place that I was living, which was Las Palmas in Gran Canaria in the Canary Islands, which belong to Spain. Before going on the year abroad, I was really scared and apprehensive. I didn't know what it would be like living abroad, how I would cope, because living abroad for an extended period of time is completely different to going on holiday there. I've been very lucky to have been to the Canary Islands quite a few times on holiday with my family, but I have never lived there, so living there was difficult. There was a lot of administration to do initially and a lot of legal things which scared me. Literally the first day that I got there, I was in the police station. Not because they thought I was a criminal, but because I had to sign up as a foreign worker. Basically, if you work there more than 90 days, you have to get like an identification number. So I went to the police station and it was a big nightmare. It was literally so much of a fuss. They made it way more complicated than it needed to be. I think I went to the police station about 5 times within the first week of living in Gran Canaria. The first time I went, it was the first day, I was obviously very nervous. I didn't really know where I was and what I was doing. So I went to the reception man and explained the situation, and he gave me this form to fill out. He gave me the form, then I went through these like security scanners. I felt like a criminal. Then I had to wait 2 hours in this like waiting room area, which was outside in the sun. So I was like boiling hot, filling in this form whilst I was waiting for 2 hours. Then I went to talk to the policeman when my name had got called, and he told me that the person on the reception desk had given me the incorrect form, which was really annoying because I'd waited 2 hours filling it out in what I thought was perfect Spanish. I was making such an effort with my grammatical constructions. Then he told me it was the wrong form and I'd have to come the next day to fill in the correct one. So I went back the next day and I got the form from the reception man. I think it was the correct one this time because I waited again 2 hours, loads of waiting around in Spain. And then I got to the policeman and he said it was the correct one. He asked me a few questions. He had to like scan my passport, and then he said to come back in a week in order to collect the identification number. So I was quite happy that I'd got somewhere this time with the process of getting my national identification number. So I went back in a week and they told me that they had the identification number on a little plastic card, and then they wanted me to pay for it. So I said, okay, I've got the money, let's pay and let's get it done. Then they said I had to go to a bank. So I left the police station running around trying to find the nearest local bank. Bear in mind, I'd never been to a Spanish bank before. I didn't really have any idea what I was doing when I went into this bank. I just gave this form and the money, and they said, okay, you've paid now, we've signed the form, take it back to the police station. So I took it back to the police station, and then I had to wait again in a queue for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it was. And then I finally got this little plastic card, and it was literally like a tiny card with a number on. Like, they made such a big deal about it, but when I'd got that, I felt like a success in a way, because it was such a big process for me moving abroad and going to the police station and, you know, doing everything in Spanish. It was very unusual for me, and I just felt successful. Like, I felt like I had accomplished something already so early on in my year abroad. The year abroad definitely gives you confidence that you can do things. Once I got the identification number, I then had to open a Spanish bank account, which wasn't as difficult, but it was still scary going into a bank and speaking in front of a load of native speakers, trying to figure out how to open a bank. And then once that was done, I had to go to the school to fill in some like administration forms and paperwork. Literally administration, 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 mountains of administration to do in Spain, or probably any foreign country if you're living abroad for a year. Once that was done, I actually had an amazing year abroad. It was incredible. The school that I worked at was so supportive, so kind, so helpful. All of the staff, all of the teachers just wanted to help me. They really appreciated me being there, trying to help their students learn English. And the students themselves were really helpful as well, and they gave me advice on where to go in the island, and they were really kind. I think some of them found my YouTube channel, so hello if you're watching. I think they might have found me on Instagram, and then from that they found me on YouTube and Twitter and all of my other social media, but I don't really mind, you know, if they're watching my YouTube videos, they're trying to learn English and the videos are in English, so it's a good way for them to learn. Sometimes when I wasn't working and I was just like shopping in the city or something, I would see students and they would stop and talk to me, ask me how my day was going. I just felt like they really appreciated my presence in the school. They really appreciated the fact that I was helping them and that I was a native speaker. So, you know, I really loved working at that school and I will miss it. I really will miss the teachers and the students, and I just loved teaching. You know, it was a real challenge because I've never had any formal teaching qualifications. I literally went with no idea what I was doing, and I was teaching entire classes of 30 students. Standing in front of a class of 30 students this time last year I would not have wanted to do. I gained so much more confidence to do that kind of thing, and honestly giving presentations in front of people doesn't really scare me anymore, because when you're giving a lesson every single day in front of groups of 30 students, and you know, these are teenagers, like 12 to 18 years old, very unpredictable, and some of them fall asleep, some of them do things that you don't want them to do. If you can try and keep their attention for entire lessons, giving a group presentation at university or just a presentation in a work environment or whatever, that doesn't really scare me, because teenagers are the worst kind of audience to have, to be honest, because they're very hard to keep focused. But teaching definitely helped me. I don't know if I want to go into teaching forever as a future career, but it gave me a lot of transferable skills. Just in general, Gran Canaria was an amazing place to be for my year abroad. I felt really happy there and I just loved the island. It's an amazing island. Even though it's quite small, it's very diverse. There's a lot to do, even if it's a small island. It's sometimes described as a miniature continent, which basically means that you can be in one part of the island and experience a completely different climate to people in the other part of the island. In January or February, I can't remember exactly which month, but it was snowing in the mountains at the highest point of the island, and people in the south at the lowest point of the island were sunbathing on the beach. There was basically a 25 degrees difference in the temperature. That really means that there's so much to do on the island because it's so diverse. You get a lot of different landscapes, and you also get the big city, Las Palmas, which I was living in. That was great because there was loads of free cultural attractions, free concerts, free carnivals. Everything was free. Well, not really, but you know, there was a lot of free things happening. There was also little towns and villages that were great to visit in the mountains, and the south was great because it was basically like a desert with sand dunes. And it's just an incredible island. I would literally recommend Gran Canaria to anyone. I think it has something for all tastes. So if you're wanting to go on holiday, definitely choose Gran Canaria. But also if you're doing a year abroad, it's definitely a place to consider. I know a lot of people are not sure about going on a year abroad in an island because they feel like it's kind of isolated and there's not much to do. But Gran Canaria as a miniature continent has so much stuff to do, and it's diverse. You can never get bored. There are still things that I just didn't have time to do in Gran Canaria, even though I was there for an entire year. So you can never get bored in Gran Canaria. It's literally a paradise island and I loved it.